Right, so for homework tonight, you're doing the even problems on the sheet that says additional practice 7-3 on the top, page 191. You're doing just the evens. I'm going to go over some of the odds just to give you examples, but I mostly want to do the odds so that you can try the evens on your own. I'll show you a couple ways to do it, and I really want you to switch back and forth on how you're doing these so you get practice doing it both ways. So let's just get started. I did one in class with most groups, so let me go on to number 3. So 3 says k over 75 equals 9 over 15. So once again, just look at number 3. It's k over 75 equals 9 over 15. So the easiest way to do it, if it works, and it doesn't always work, that's the reason I want you to practice both ways, but the easiest way is to just say, well, what times 15 makes 75? So think about it for a second. What times 15 makes 75? So hopefully you knew 5 times 15 was 75. So we're going to put a 5 here. And then what we do to one part with a proportion, we have to do the other to make an equivalent proportion or make equivalent ratio. So 9 times 5 is 45. So k equals 45. So what you should have on your paper when I said, try to show some of what you're doing is you should have the 2 5s, and that would show that you know your steps and you know what you're doing. Just times 5 times 5. K equals 45. So let's go on to the next one. All right, so let's do number 5 now. We're going to do this the other way. And it's not because you can't do it this way. You could say 2 times 6 makes 12. I just want us to practice them both ways, so I'd really like you to alternate, like do some this way, but do some the other way as well. So kind of every other one maybe, something like that. So the other way to do this is to cross multiply. We know that the cross products are equal. We talked about that in last night's homework. So 2 times d is 2d. And then you have 12 times 11. 12 times 11 is, I believe, 132. And then we have just a one-step equation here. So the inverse of multiplication is division. We're going to divide both sides by 2. And d equals 66, I believe. And we're done with that one. So this way seems harder. It's important. And it is harder. It is. The other way is easier. But because the other way doesn't always work, it's good to practice both. So, like I said, alternate. Don't do all of them this way if you don't want to, but do some of them this way. Let's go on to the next one. So let's do, I know we're people who've watched the video for this long. Let's do one of the evens for you. I'm going to do t over 54 equals 2 over 9. So that's number 8. Number 8. All right. So let's go ahead and do the cross multiplication way. You could also say 9 times what makes 54, and that would give you do the same thing on top. Let's cross multiply though. 9 times t is 9t. And we know the cross products are equal, so that's going to equal 2 times 54. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. That's be 108. And then the inverse of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by 9. This is a one-step equation. And then think for a second, 108 divided by 9. 108 divided by 9, I'll give you just a second to think about it. Yep, it's 12. So t equals 12. Once again, the other way you could have done it, you're going to do some, you're going to alternate. But you could have said, well, what times 9 makes 54? 9 times 6 makes 54. So you do 2 times 6. And that gives you 12. So you get the same answer both ways. Let's talk about number 19. Because you're going to do 20, so let's talk about how to do it. So 19 says 8 oranges cost $1. And you're looking on your paper, hopefully, to see how this looks. 8 oranges cost $9. So we're talking about two different things. We're talking about oranges and dollars. So I'm making a choice. I'm gonna put oranges on top, money on bottom. You could put money on top, oranges on bottom. It would be the same answer, the same thing. You just have to be consistent. So if I put oranges on top of my first ratio, I gotta put it on top of my second one as well, so it'd be the numerator for both. I can't put oranges here and oranges there. Once again, I can't put oranges here and oranges there. I have to put oranges on top of both if I'm gonna do it that way. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oops. Is that too much? Okay. So 8 oranges, so it says 8 oranges, cost $1, so 8 to 1. How much will 2 dozen oranges cost? So 2 dozen, hopefully you know this, but a dozen is 12. So 2 dozen would be 24. So 2 dozen equals 24, if you didn't know that. We want to know how much is that going to cost. So I put the 24 on top because it's oranges, 24 oranges. We want to know money, so I put, let's just put an M for money. You could put an X, it doesn't matter. Well, let's cross multiply. 8 times M is 8M. 1 times 24 is 24. And the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. M equals 3. And so we have 3, and since it's a word problem, it's pretty important right here to think of what 3 means. It looks like we were talking about money, so for my answer I need to put 3, and I need to put a dollar sign with it. Had we been talking about oranges, if it had been the top that was missing, we'd put 3 oranges, but it's $3 would be. Right. So that is what I'm going to go over. Let me know if you have questions when you get here tomorrow.